Okay, so today we are watching something that I'm very excited about. I've been wanting to watch this for a while now. We are watching the Mohammedan World by Coronet Instructional Films. I'll say that again, the Mohammedan World. If you guys aren't figuring out what that is, we are learning about the followers of Muhammad. So that should make it pretty clear as to what we're learning about today. Publication date 1953. That's all we have to go on. Before we start, I should say that I took one class in college, the Introduction to Arab Civilizations, and that is pretty much the only thing that I'm going to have in here to give me context as to what we're watching. So I do have a little bit of a background or a little bit of an understanding for Arabic civilizations, but I guess this is the Mohammedan world, so it should be a little different. Already, I find that term so interesting, the Mohammedan world. This is already a phrase that we don't use anymore. We would just call it the Muslim world today, or the Arabic world. I guess that's a little different than the Muslim world. The title of this, if this program were made today, it would be the Muslim world, not the Mohammedan world. The word choice for the title is already exposing the antiquated nature of this program, but let's get into it. We haven't even started yet. Wow, that's so funny. I'm actually so glad that I said that beforehand. So when we actually get to the title screen, so the title in the Internet Archive for this program was the Mohammedan World. But when we wait and actually we get to the title screen, it is the Muslim world. So that's so funny, even though, oh, okay, hang on. Formerly titled the Mohammedan World. So this was originally titled the Mohammedan World, and then they changed it to the Muslim world. That is, I just can't believe I called that, like that. Sometimes I just say things and I wonder if it even matters for me to say it, but then they literally changed the title of this program to what I suggested. And we should also note that this is still an antiquated form of the term Muslim, right? For here, it's Moslem. It's not Muslim. At some point, they changed the O to a U. I don't really know why. If I had to guess, though, we can also see the Mohammedan world is spelt with an M-O, and at some point, I think we started spelling Muhammad with an MU. So it would make sense for us to also extend that change to the Muslim world. But also Muslim has an E instead of an I. It's just a different way of spelling Muslim, I guess. It's just very interesting. Clearly, a lot has changed in the Mohammedan world since this was made. But all right, Beginnings and Growth by John Smart. Thanks, John Smart, whoever you are, for the Muslim world. Also, I'm going to say it Moslem, not Muslim. I don't know. That's how I read it. I think that's how they're going to say it too. I love the little somber music, like they can't play like the true patriotic like trumpet music for this because the Mohammedan world is not like fitting in with the trumpet music of like patriotic programs like this. So we're getting like kind of sad, sullen trumpet music instead. Okay, educational collaborator, I. James Quillen, PhD. I wonder what he had a PhD in. Dean and School of Education, Stanford University. All right, so pretty respectable right here. Again, it doesn't really say why he specifically is the one to be the educational collaborator for the Mohammedan world. I have to imagine his degree or his PhD is in something related to this. Okay, and that's all we get. So we just cut immediately to this little Mohammedan city, I guess. This almost looks like Jerusalem just because of this big dome. It could literally be any city in the Arabic world, though, for all I know. So let's keep watching.
It is morning in the ancient city of Baghdad.
Okay, so it's Baghdad. So that's, I guess, another important city in the Mohammedan world. I'm going to say the Mohammedan world now, only because of the Mohammedan. It's not Mohammedan, it's Mohammedan world. Okay, interesting. So the Mohammedan world. That's such a weird phrase that still.
Above the city rises the dome of a mosque.
Okay, so there were a few audio glitches there for a second. So we lost a little bit of audio. It kind of sounded important. It kind of sounded like it was introducing us to the Mohammedan world, but we lost it. So let's just keep going.
From the tower-like minaret comes the Muslim call to prayer.
The Moslem. See, they are saying it Moslem instead of Muslim. That's interesting. I also like how he specified that the minarets are a tower-like building. Like, they're not just towers. You know, like I would call a minaret a form of tower. I wouldn't say, oh, the tower like minarets. I don't know. It's a weird choice of words. This is a really cool shot though, this dome, and then you get this little person in the minaret. Oh, I don't know if he's the one making the call, but it definitely lends the sense of scale of these that wasn't here before. The sky is actually like dwarfed by this minaret, which is really cool. This all doesn't look that big otherwise, but with this guy here, it really does look impressive. Oh wow, look at this up close shot of this guy in the minaret though. Like look how big it is. Like look how dwarfed he is by this minaret. This is crazy. There must be like a staircase in the center of this thing, right? That's how he gets up there. That's all the tower really is a staircase to this heightened platform. And what's even more amazing is really like the mosaic design or the tile mosaics, I guess, that are decorating this minaret. It really is like ornate to such a degree that is like hard to comprehend. But this guy probably is the guy who's making the call, by the way. His hands are raised. It seems like he's calling everyone to prayer. Which, yeah, I already know that aspect of the Muslim world, right? The call to prayer, or the 5 calls to prayer every day. You know, like I'm familiar enough with the Mohammedan world to understand what I'm looking at here.
At the sound of the call, Muslims kneel to pray.
Muslims, again, Muslims. So yeah, that's just an antiquated form of the phrase to refer to Muslim people. It's just, I don't know, I find it interesting. Like these little preservations of language like that, you know, Muslims versus Muslims. It's interesting.
They are some of the millions of Muslims who live in many lands that form the Muslim world today.
Many lands that form the Muslim world. So interesting, yeah. Like there's many different countries that belong to the Muslim world, I guess. I wonder if they had to re-record the voiceover. I wonder if the original voiceover was the voice actor saying the Mohammedan world. Because in this, he's saying the Muslim world, which makes me think that they re-recorded the voice even for it. I don't know, but it seems like that. These are some really cool shots of like, I don't know, traditional Arab garb though. Like this is such a good preservation of what Arabia even looked like all the way back then. I guess this is Baghdad, so I don't know if that technically counts as Arabia. It feels like Arabia to me, but I guess it's all the Muslim world though. So this is still a very good insight into like the fashion trends, I guess, of the Muslim world, or just like the sort of clothes, the fashion culture, I guess, of the Muslim world. This is a really good example of that, I guess.
That world includes countries that stretch from...
Oh yes, we get a map. Thank you. Morocco? Oh wow, that's so funny. So for Morocco, they didn't include like Western Sahara. That's interesting. I guess, when was this made? 53? So I guess Spain was still in control. All right, so that makes a little bit more sense. Spain was literally in control of the rest of Morocco. So they had Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Egypt. The Mashriq that's the part of the Arab, or that's the part of the Muslim world that's not in Arabia, right? I think so. I think this is the Mashriq, and then the actual Arab part, or the Arabian part, is the Maghreb, I think. Or maybe I'm getting those mixed up, but I think this is the Mashriq that we're looking at right now. Yeah, and then this is the Maghreb. If my memory of Arabic civilizations is right, then this is the Mashriq and the Maghreb. Yeah, I always forget that Indonesia has like so many Muslim people. Like I don't know. I just don't understand the history behind that, I guess. I feel like I understand why all these places in like Africa and, you know, the middle of Asia are Muslim, but Indonesia really just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I need to learn the history behind Muslims' presence in Indonesia, because it really just seems nonsensical to me. But also a little bit with Bangladesh too. Bangladesh makes a little bit more sense, I guess, but it's still strange, or I guess impressive, that it never really fully penetrated India.
From Morocco to Pakistan and Indonesia. Centers of this Muslim world are a group of ancient and famous cities.
Ancient and famous cities. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. I guess I wouldn't call Cairo ancient and famous. I feel like Cairo is like the least ancient and the least famous of them. Like maybe if this was Memphis, but definitely not Cairo. But Jerusalem, Damascus, Baghdad, Istanbul, yeah, all famous, all ancient. I mean, I guess Cairo could be built on like an ancient city, but I just don't think Cairo was around for like ancient Egyptian period. I like the fonts though. Mediterranean gets a plain old like standard Arial font, but then the Persian Gulf gets like a weird, fun, exotic, you know, Arabian font. It's just, it's funny. And you know, you can see the Aral Sea. I'm just picking up on too many details already, but the Aral Sea is full here. Like it's not even partially drained at all. Like an old-timey map for sure.
Here we'll find Muslims in downtown Cairo.
Okay, Muslims in downtown Cairo. So this is downtown Cairo in 1953. See, this is interesting because I never would have imagined downtown Cairo looking like this in the 50s. But I guess that's why I'm here doing this, is so that I can learn this sort of stuff.
Amongst the traffic of busy streets. In Old Jerusalem, on narrow historic byways.
This is more of what I was expecting. This old Jerusalem shot is like, I thought I was going to look at like narrow alleyways. That's really, when I think of the Mohammedan world, that's what I think of. It's like narrow alleyways through like dense cities.
In Damascus, ancient capital of the Muslim world.
Oh wow, they even have like a trolley or like a tram or a streetcar, I guess. Like that's impressive. I feel like a lot more places used to have streetcars than do now. Like it's so strange how like rapid the adaptation or the adoption of streetcars was for like most modernized cities back then. Like even the city I live in used to have a streetcar, but now they don't. Now like they're all gone. I don't know if this is true for whatever city this is, but I have to imagine there's no streetcar here today either. You know, it's just, I guess streetcars themselves are like a relic of a bygone era. So it's so funny to see this, you know, yeah, it's just so funny to see them here. But I guess there are a lot fewer cars and a lot more people walking on the streets. So this is a bit more accurate to what I was expecting.
And in Istanbul.
See, Istanbul, like, it's just so open. Like, I imagined Istanbul being, like, so crowded. I bet it was. I bet there were still huge sections of the city that were, like, overcrowded. But this one shot that we're looking at just is not saying Istanbul to me. You know, like, this is just a parkway with an apartment building. Like, this could literally be in America for all I know, you know? Like, there's nothing saying Istanbul in this shot, I guess.
On broad modern avenues. We'll find Muslims in Syria, riding along ancient trails.
I bet this is probably a better depiction of what most of the Mohammedan world looked like at this time. Like still a lot of like desert nomads. You know what, maybe I could be wrong about that. I guess maybe most of the people were living in cities still at this time, but I have to imagine that like there's still a lot of this sort of stuff happening where people just herding their donkeys, it looks like, over the desert, you know? Like I have to imagine this is what a lot of the Mohammedan world looked like.
In Iraq, harvesting grains in the fields.
You know, it's funny because, yeah, I really did not expect to see, like, farmers. Obviously, there are farmers. It's just, like, it's so strange to see a place that I, in my head, think of as, like, purely desert, when in reality, there's rivers, there's floodplains, there's places to farm. There's arable land, I guess, and people do wherever they can. So that's what we're seeing here. It's just, it always comes as a surprise to see, like, green fields in the middle of, like, Arabia, you know? I guess it's just because I'm not from there, so I have a simplified understanding of it in my mind, but yeah, it's always surprising to see stuff like this.
And in North Africa, living on the desert.
So look at these guys. These guys are some pretty cool looking Mohammedans right here. So yeah, pretty good example of like the clothing and the, I don't know, just the appearance of the people at the time. Like, I feel like you can find people in Arabia who still wear stuff like this, but I feel like most people in Arabia have kind of westernized their fashion a little bit more than this. I could be wrong about that. Again, any viewers actually from the Mohammedan world want to disagree with me on that, please do so. Please, you know, educate me as to what people in this part of the world are wearing today. But what I imagine most of these guys are wearing more like pants and like t-shirts today. I don't know. That's just me, though. That's my imagination, I guess.
And all these people are of the same religious faith, a faith that goes back 1,300 years to desert dwellers in Arabia.
1,300 years. So yeah, Islam was founded in 600, right? Right around the year 600. So 1,300 years. I guess now it would be 1,400 years, which is funny. I guess this is from so long ago that it's only 1,300 years ago instead of 1,400 years ago. That's funny.
The time is about 570 A.D. In the desert town of Mecca, Muhammad...
You know what's funny is I'm actually excited to hear their explanation of this, because the only explanation I ever got of like Muhammad and like the start of Islam was from my Arabic civilizations professor who was from Morocco. So I don't know, it was definitely information coming from the inside of Islam and the Arabic world, whereas here I feel like all this information is sort of just coming from the outside of the Arabic world, so it might give us a sort of a different story than what I've heard, or at least a different lean on the events that took place.
Was born, and there he first preached. Tribes of desert nomads were among the first to accept Muhammad's teachings.
See, already I feel like my Arabic civilizations class did a better job because he set the scene by saying that all these desert tribes were like warring with one another. Like I'm missing that context here. You know, like the thing that made Muhammad like important in this world in this time is that there were warring tribes of desert herders, I guess, and Muhammad brought them all together. At least that's my understanding of it. Muhammad said, let's not fight each other. Let's just treat each other peacefully and let's go fight those other guys who are wearing crosses around their necks. You know, like that's more so what I understand Islam to be, or at least the foundation of Islam was all these desert tribes fighting each other until Muhammad said, let's not do that. So without that context, that kind of takes away the contributions of Muhammad a lot, I feel like. You know, like if you don't understand that these tribes were fighting, you don't understand why it was so important for Muhammad to stop them from fighting, you know? So I don't know if we're going to get that context any later, but I just already I feel like I need to say that I understand the context a little. But let's keep going because I am not an expert at this at all. So let's learn as much as we can, I guess.
Perhaps the simple life of the desert dwellers with its code of honor and friendship helped the new religion, Islam, to spread.
You know, I feel like a lot could be said about that statement. I just don't know enough to even agree or disagree. Like, obviously, the desert, like, lifestyles these people had, like, kind of helped the religion spread just because everyone needed to move around all the time because there weren't enough resources in any one spot for them. So there was always this sense of moving and exchanging information, which led Muhammad's words to spread across these communities faster than they otherwise would have. But again, like they also were separated by like hundreds of miles of desert. So I don't know. I don't know if it really helped or hurt, you know?
For Islam emphasized the spirit of kindness, equality, and brotherhood.
Yeah, that I understand though. There is a very strong sense of like not chivalry, but like respect among like fellow Muslims. So yeah, that part rings true. I wonder what people who are Muslim will think about me watching this, who is not Muslim. I'm not Christian either, or I'm not any religion, so I feel like I'm unbiased. But again, I feel like a Muslim person would not think of me being non-religious as unbiased. I feel like some people would disagree with what I have to say about all this. But you know what? That's the point.
But it was also a fighting spirit. Soon after Muhammad's...
You know, I do like the detail that the Mohammedans did have like a fighting spirit. I feel like no one can argue that. Even nowadays, you can't argue that the Mohammedan world has a fighting spirit about it.
death, his followers conquered Arabia, and then with fiery zeal carried the faith into lands beyond Arabia.
Fiery zeal. Again, some figurative language that is just kind of revealing the actual opinions of the people creating this. Just, I don't know, did the Crusaders attack the Holy Land with fiery zeal as well? You know, like, I don't know. It's weird picking apart the word choices they have for the actions of certain people versus other people. I don't know.
Into Syria, into Palestine, Egypt, Persia, Spain.
You know, it's funny because it makes it seem like all these movements came from like one place, Mecca, which, I mean, I guess they technically did. If everyone did their Hajj and then left their Hajj and went back home, then I guess it all did come from Mecca. But I don't know, I feel like there was a lot more complex movements across these lands that actually led to the spread. Like, I have to imagine the Muslims who entered Spain did not come immediately from Mecca. Like, they must have come from Morocco and maybe, you know, the surrounding North African countries as well. But, like, there wasn't a direct pilgrimage from Mecca to Spain, I don't think.
And a portion of India. By the year 750, a vast Muslim empire had been...
Oh man. The Umayyads, was it? Oh, were they the first dynasty? See, that's the other thing about... I wonder if they're even going to go into this. Like, Abu Bakr. Like, I know who Abu Bakr is. Like, I know, like, the caliphates and everything. Like, I don't even know if we're going to get to Abu Bakr in this, you know? I know some people respect me a lot more for knowing who Abu Bakr is and all the caliphates and the Umayyad caliphate. I don't know. I don't know if this is what we're talking about. I don't know if we're going to get into the nitty-gritty like that.
Created, held together by the Islamic faith. Basis of the faith...
See, so they say Islamic properly. I mean, I guess we did say it differently. He says Islamic, where I say Islamic, which, again, I don't really know who's right or wrong.
Faith was the Quran, a collection of Muhammad's sayings and teachings. For more than 1,300 years, Muhammad's words have been taught from the Quran. There is only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet. The idea of only one...
Yeah, I feel like this is the most simple thing to understand about Islam, is that it's pretty much just another, like, there's one God and I'm the guy who spoke with God. You know, like, Christianity to me is like the exact same. Like, I know I'm gonna upset people in the comments with that, but like, to me, like, the base story is still just like, I am your savior. Like, listen to me because I have the right things to say. You know, like, that's pretty much both of these religions, and you know what, Judaism as well.
God was similar to the earlier Hebrew and Christian concept of God. The new religion that Muhammad preached spread rapidly among the masses of the East.
So what were these people before Islam? That's what I'm curious about. There were like Zoroastrians, and like there were other things as well. But like, I guess they were just like spiritual, but didn't have an organized religion. I guess that is what makes Islam special in this part of the world, is that it is an organized belief system, whereas the people beforehand just had more spiritual, more animist sort of beliefs, where they didn't really organize or systematically organize their beliefs into any sort of like texts. Or like they might have had texts, but they didn't have like the Quran, I guess. Or at least that's what I think is the case. I think there was a lot of ancestor worship in this part of the world too. Like, you were very proud and would almost have like a shrine to like your ancient ancestors or your tribe, I guess. There was some sort of like tribal affiliation that was like super important in this part of the world. So I guess your tribe sort of just is your family.
And wherever it spread, mosques were built as places of worship. This one in Jerusalem is said...
I was going to say, this looks like the mosque in Jerusalem, but I already used that guess once, so I didn't want to guess that a second time. But yeah, this looks like the big golden dome.
...to mark the place from which Muhammad ascended to heaven.
Dang, really? I didn't... You know what? I probably did know that and probably just forgot. So this is thought of as the place where Muhammad ascended to heaven? That's wild. See, like... If you don't believe it, then it's just like, oh, that's whatever. But like, if you do believe it, then this is like the most important spot in the whole world, probably. Well, I guess, you know, there's the Hajj or the Mecca. I think this is like the third holiest place in Islam, isn't it? It's like Mecca and then like Medina or something. I only know that, again, because I played as Saladin in Civilization. But but yeah, I think this is like the third holiest site in Islam.
The sign of the crescent is the symbol of the Muslim faith.
See, I really hope we get this explained to me. I feel like I've had it explained to me multiple times now, but it has just never stuck as to why the crescent is so integral into the iconography of the Muslim faith, I guess. Like, why the crescent is just everywhere. You know, I guess they can't depict humans or human faces, so it makes sense for them to prefer like geometric shapes. But again, I don't understand the crescent aspect of it. I know there's a story in the Quran that explains it all. I know every actual Muslim person understands this perfectly, and the fact that I don't know it probably makes me look pretty uneducated, but like, somebody educate me in the comments, I guess, please.
A faith which competed with the earlier faith of Christianity. The symbol of the cross and the symbol of the crescent collided wherever the two met.
Symbol of the cross and symbol of the crescent collided wherever the two met. Well, I guess that's kind of a redundant statement, but yeah, I guess what we're saying is like there was definitely collisions between the crescents and the crosses. This is a funny map too. So they're just representing like Christianity with like a field of crosses. This is, again, it's a more pictorial representation than what I do on Atlas Pro a lot, but I like it. I like the representation. Like, if I were making this map for an Atlas Pro video, I would make the Muslims just like a green blob, right? Like, show their territory or whatever, and then the Christians would just be like a red blob or something. I wouldn't have the actual symbols illustrating the physical distribution of the religion. I feel like that's just not really sensical, but it's a little fun to look at. So, you know what? You know, I appreciate it. I appreciate the map animation for sure. It's just not what I would have gone with, I guess. I guess they don't have colors. I guess this is black and white, so they had to do something else. So they couldn't have just used green and red. They had to use other symbols. So, okay, that makes a lot more sense, actually.
In Palestine, in Constantinople, and in Spain. In Spain, the Muslim occupation centered in such cities as Seville.
Spain, hang on, no, not Seville, it's Cordoba, right? That was like the big capital city of the Al-Andalus. That's what they called it, right? Al-Andalus, that's what Spain was during the its Muslim period. But I'm pretty sure Cordoba was like the big city of Spain, not Seville.
Cordova?
Cordoba, yeah, there we go, there we go. That's what I was saying. It used to be spelled differently too. It's like Cordoba, or maybe it's spelled differently now. But either way, like yeah, that's what I was looking for. I wonder if we'll hear the term Al-Andalus or not.
And Granada. These cities became centers of the Muslim or Moorish culture in Spain.
Moorish culture, yeah, that's more what they considered them as. The Moors from Morocco, which is just, that's another like antiquated, like ethnic racial group. I guess it's not antiquated if the country is still called Morocco, but I feel like no one refers to Moroccans as Moors anymore, you know? Like Moroccans is what you would call them, not Moors or Moorish people. That is, I guess it's a little antiquated, but it still is in use in at least the name of the country itself. This is some really cool architecture though. That is like probably my favorite part of the Mohammedan world is like the architecture and like the art styles. I don't know if that's weird to say, but I really do appreciate like Muslim architecture styles. Like it is really appealing to me. Like a courtyard in the center of a house, forget about it, you know? Like I love houses like this. I wish I could live in like an old Muslim like house, I guess. I don't even know. I feel like they have a different word for them, but like whatever this sort of house is, that's what I want.
Palaces such as the Alhambra in Granada are lasting examples of the Muslim way of life, a graceful, cultured way of living that influenced European civilization and eventually...
Yeah, this is like the number one thing that my professor tried to like nail into my head. And it was a point of like pride for them that like they did influence European culture, not just culture, but like European intellectual thought through Spain. There actually was like a very huge impact of the Muslim presence in Spain on the rest of Europe as well. I definitely know about that, and it's interesting to hear them speak on it in this program as well.
Eventually our own. After the conquest of Spain...
Like you can almost see, I don't know, like this is kind of Gothic almost, you know, like there is a bit of Gothic sensibility to this Muslim style. But I'm curious if there is that connection there or not. I have to imagine there's some sort of connection, but I don't want to just claim that like Gothic art style has its origins in Mohammedan arts. I don't know. I don't want to make that claim, but it looks like that.
Muslims and Christians clashed in Palestine.
You know what? That is a very ironic statement. Muslims and Christians clashed in Palestine. Like, yeah, I guess some things haven't changed and some things have changed, but only just a little.
The Holy Land.
The Holy Land. See, that's so funny that like, I don't know. I feel like to Muslims, it's not really the Holy Land. Like, I don't want to tell Muslims what they think, but I feel like isn't the area around Mecca, isn't that like the Muslim Holy Land? Like it's weird that this is the Holy Land, even though it's not the holiest place in all of Islam. You know, I don't know. I feel like Muslim has a different Holy Land than like Christianity. I feel like Islam has a different Holy Land than Christianity.
From 1096 to 1291,
1096 to 1291. All right, like I'm not going to remember these dates, but that is a good thing to know. So like the early thousands.
Military expeditions of Christians, the Crusades, went from...
Oh, that's what we're talking about, the Crusades. See, this is another impressive linear wipe on all these little lines leading to the Holy Land.
Europe to the Holy Land.
These are just, you know, it's an impressive animation. People got to respect these. But then you have all this little fade out, this tapered end on one side and this like straight line on the other. I'm just saying, this is a more complex animation than anyone watching would appreciate.
The ancient city of Jerusalem, sacred to both Christians and Muslims, was conquered and reconquered as the Moors fought to expel the invading Crusaders.
The Moors fought to expel the invading Crusaders? So that's interesting. So are the Moors just people from Morocco, or is that like a phrase that was more generally North African or something? You know, like were the Arabians also Moors? Like, I don't think so. I feel like Moors is very specific to the people of like North African, like the Barbary Coast at least. But I also don't know if the Moors actually were the people to fight the Crusaders in Jerusalem. I guess that must be true a little if this guy's saying it. It's just, I would have thought the Arabians would have fought back against the Crusaders and not the Moors, at least in the Holy Land. But I don't know, they could have sent people from Morocco to go fight this battle too. That makes a lot of sense actually. So yeah, this was probably a battle fought with like the entire Arab world, pretty much, yeah. Probably, yeah, like the World War Arab.
Theirs was a faith based on Muhammad's words. Fight for Allah's cause against those who fight you.
Are these real swords? Hang on a second. All right, let's get a better look at these.
And so war was...
Are these historically accurate swords? I know people in this part of the world had like curved swords, like the Omani curved swords. I know what those are, but these seem like comedically curved, you know? Like there's no way they actually had them this curved. How do you even get them out of the sheath if they're that curved, you know? Like, I don't know. I have a hard time believing these are legit swords. I don't even know if I'd be scared of somebody with a sword like this. Like, you can't stab someone with it, can you? Like, I don't think so. Like, that's a slicing sword, not a stabbing sword.
Made as Crusaders and Moors.
I wonder, okay, so I'm so curious about the fashion, or the outfits, I guess, like the wardrobe. It's not fashion anymore because these guys are pretending to be, like, crusaders. But I wonder how accurate their crusader garb is, you know? Like, what flag is this guy carrying? All right, so hang on. This crusader's wearing, like... what kind of just looks like a dress. It might just be like something covering his armor, but like, I don't know. These kind of just look like they're wearing dresses. I guess everyone's wearing dresses. Mohammedans and Christians are all wearing dresses at this time in history. I have a hard time believing this is what the Crusaders actually looked like. Like, do you see how far up the seam of this guy's dress goes? Like, you can see his like upper thigh exposed. Like, that just doesn't seem like good attire to be wearing while invading someplace.
Joined in the struggle for the Near East. Gradually, some armies of the Crusaders...
I'm watching these people like fake fight with these swords, and it's like there's no way these swords were practically used, you know? Like they must have had a very specific use. Like I can imagine those being really good for like riding on a camel, I guess, and like slashing at people. But like hand-to-hand sword combat with one of these curved blades, I don't know. I don't believe at all. I don't believe people fought with swords like that. I don't care how historically accurate those swords actually probably are. Like, I don't believe it.
Armies of the Crusaders established themselves in the Holy Land.
You know what? I'm still on the side of straight swords. I'm not a curved sword guy. I'm a straight sword guy.
There they built great feudal castles.
It is crazy that this is just footage of the actual like fortresses that these people built and like defended. You know, like this isn't like a recreation or a miniature. Like this is actually just the fortress, you know, like you just have history on display in this part of the world like you don't have here in America. Like there are no 1,000-year-old fortresses that are still intact like this anywhere in America, really. So I don't know. It's so cool to get to see this sort of stuff, and especially to see it preserved all the way back then too. I don't know what this site looks like now. I can only hope that it's still intact, but I can't say for sure whether or not it's still intact.
This one in Syria is one of the great landmarks of the Crusades in the Near East.
Some sick castles too. I was obsessed with castles as a kid, so I like absolutely just love looking at like cool castle designs. Like I love picturing like where the siege took place, like this tower, this wall, you know, like defending the wall, shooting arrows from the top of this wall, probably a lot of fun. I don't know. I loved castles as a kid.
Such strongholds were centers of European life in the Moslem Empire.
It's funny how they call it the Moslem Empire, because I just don't know if you would really call it that. I guess there were different periods where you would call it an empire as opposed to other periods where it was more like, I don't know, separate entities. I don't know. The Muslim world has been very complicated for a lot of its history, to be honest. So it's hard. It's hard to know what to even refer to it as sometimes. I would call it the caliphate. I would never call it the empire. I would always call it, I mean, I guess unless they didn't have a caliphate this time. Again, I don't know what time period we're exactly talking about in this map.
The cities of Damascus, Mosul, and Baghdad were the culture.
It is very interesting that like these still are like the important cities of this area today. Like Damascus was the capital of Syria, Baghdad, capital of Iraq, like these are still the most important cities in their area. Oh, and Mosul, that was like a big thing for ISIS recently. So like, yeah, all these cities still exist and are important regional centers of power.
Centers of that empire. Ancient Baghdad was the romantic city of the Arabian Nights.
Yeah, this is another thing that my professor like hit home hard was like how amazing Baghdad used to be. Like Baghdad for a time, I'm pretty sure Baghdad was like built on Babylon. Like they're still part of the same historical continuation, I guess. And even more than that though, like Baghdad was like the Athens and like Alexandria of its time or of its world, I guess. I guess Athens and Alexandria still existed in this timeline as well. But like they had like the great mosque and the great library of Baghdad. Like Baghdad was the center of all human knowledge for a time, and for a very substantial amount of time too. Like there was a very impressive amount of like records from ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, and everywhere in this city. And then the Mongols came and burned it all down. But I wonder if we're going to get to that. Like that should be the true enemy of the Muslim world, the Mongols, because they really just destroyed every like great aspect of the Mohammedan world, I guess. Like the great library of Baghdad, like everything, like they destroyed Baghdad. Learning about that really got my blood boiling even. Just like how much human knowledge was destroyed because of the Mongols attacking Baghdad, like Baghdad was just such an important city. It's hard to convey how important the city used to be.
The city from which, according to the story, Sinbad the sailor set out on his voyage of adventure. The story of Sinbad was among the romantic tales that have come to us from Muslim literature. This literature was part of the Muslim culture which the Crusaders carried to Europe.
Yeah, I feel like that's like maybe the strongest aspect of like Islam as like a belief system is that it has a very clear rote like writing and reading system, like you can communicate all your stories and you can preserve all your stories indefinitely through that technology. So this is again another example, just like Christianity using the Bible, like this is just another example of communication technology really revolutionizing the way people thought.
Europe when they returned home. We can still find Muslim influence in our language. Our word Damask comes from Damascus.
Hang on a second. Their word Damask, like excuse me? Like, I don't even know what that word is, Like, I know there are words from, like, the Muslim world. I know there are words from the Muslim world, from Arabic that we use, like algebra and stuff like that. But, like, Damask, like, I don't even know what that is, Like, and I think it's funny that the fonts they use, again, like the Arial font for, like, the English word, and then, like, the funny, like, Middle Eastern font for the name of Damascus. But, yeah, what a weird choice of word to use as an example of how we still use Arabic in our language today, Like, I'm sorry, but I don't even know what a damask is.
The city where this kind of cloth was made.
It's just cloth. It's a type of cloth. See, like, would that have been like common knowledge back in the day? Did I just like expose how much of like a zillennial I am by not knowing what damask is? I feel like nobody actually knows that. I swear nobody my age would know what damask is.
Our word coffee is an Arabic word.
See, I feel like I heard this too, but again, this is not a good example, right? Like algebra is a good example because it has the al right in the front, right? Like most Arabic things start with like some sort of al or el like in the front of it for some reason. I think it just means the or whatever. So the word algebra kind of exemplifies like that, that language better. But coffee is it's just a word. It's just a sound. There's no like, oh yeah, I can see how that's of Arabic origin. No, it's just okay, like cool. I feel like there's better words they could be using as examples here.
Another Arabic word is caraway, our name for this common spice.
See, again, like caraway, like maybe I've heard of caraway, but like that's not like wowing me as to like, wow, like the word for caraway came from Arabic. Like that's crazy. Like, no, like I don't care at all, to be honest. Like that's not even impressive, Algebra is impressive, again, because algebra is like an important thing, Like, I don't know. Like algebra, the fact that somebody figured all that out, like that is what makes it like cool and impressive. Whereas caraway is, again, just a plain old name. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Our word Muslim comes from
That's so funny. So Muslim comes from Mosul, and this is actually closer to the word we use to describe Muslims today, is Muslim. I don't know. I also don't know if that comes exactly from Mosul or just from like Muslims. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong, but like again with the fabric names. Like what is this? Like I don't know any fabric names. I'm sorry. Like these are just I'm not these are bouncing right off of me.
Mosul, the city once famous for its fine cotton cloth.
That's funny. That's an interesting little factoid preserved here, is that Mosul was once known for its very nice cotton cloth. I feel like that little bit of information has been lost in the 70 or 80 years since this.
From Mosul, Damascus, and other cities came products for which the Muslim world was famous. Beautifully woven carpets were eagerly bought by the Western world.
Yeah, this might be like the most famous product of like the Muslim world, or at least, to my American mind. Like I still think of rugs as like Middle Eastern for some reason, but like it is so fascinating because I guess they are, like I guess this is where this like culture and tradition came from. It's just funny because yeah, like rugs still look like this, like they still have these sorts of designs on them because they originated from like the Muslim world. I guess rugs don't have all this Arabic language on them still, but like rugs, they might as well, honestly. Like it does look pretty cool.
Famous too were Muslim weapons.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like this curved sword, yes, this sword is like a little curved. I get that. But like the other ones were like straight out like an arc of a circle. This is a more adequately curved sword, but the other ones, I don't know. I don't know if those were real.
Such as the keen swords made of Damascus steel. These products and others were carried by camel.
What a funny little insert shot. Like somebody just filmed themselves unsheathing the sword. Like I've had to get shots like that for my videos of just like, oh, I got to show off this item real quick, so I just got to take one shot. Again, like a very simple pickup shot that you just do after editing this all together and realizing you don't have a shot for that one scene.
To lands reaching from Spain to India. On their travels, the Muslims also introduced many ideas of agriculture. They planted date palms in Mediterranean countries, and dates were among the fruits they introduced into Europe. Oranges and other citrus fruits were also introduced.
This is funny because I made a whole video about the origin of fruits from around the world. And yeah, this is all pretty much true. Like oranges and dates came to Europe through the Muslim world. But I mean, I guess I don't have anything else to add besides like, that's true, that checks out. I've made a video about that myself. I am a little upset with myself for forgetting that the oranges came from the Muslim world, but I definitely knew dates. I feel like everyone knows dates are like a Muslim thing, or like a Middle Eastern thing, I guess. Dates are definitely a Middle Eastern thing.
Other contributions of Muslim farmers included systems of irrigation, many plant products and methods of farming, and improved strains of sheep and other livestock.
I like that idea that like one of the benefits the Crusaders got was an improved strain of sheep. Like one Crusader just like carried a sheep on his back with him back to Europe and like improved the lineage of sheep there for like the rest of time.
Probably the Arabian horse is the most famous livestock contribution of the Muslim world.
Really, the Arabian horse? More even than the camel? I feel like the camel is like the most the most iconic Muslim like animal ever. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me. The Arabian horse, maybe that's more important.
A decorated saddle is an example of another kind of contribution. The art of tooling leather. Tooled leather and silver engraving are among the many decorative arts in which the Muslims excelled.
Yeah, that's another thing to be said about like Mohammedan or Muslim art or whatever. It's like it's very intricate and it's very like there are so many small details. It's just like every single item in their world had to be ornately decorated. You couldn't just have like a plain saddle or like a plain pillar or something. Like everything had to be decorated so ornately. It's definitely a part of the religion to have things decorated so nicely. Like everything decorated too. Like every square inch of your saddle needs like a design on it.
They developed abstract designs in which words of the Quran.
I like how the thing they used for the abstract design is actually like their written language, like their most organized thing. Like, oh yes, look at this abstract art we're looking at right here. There's definitely no meaning behind these shapes at all. You know, it's like, no, this is actually the one thing that is not abstract here, you know? Though honestly, I can't even blame them for thinking this was abstract. Like, I don't know how anyone reads this. I don't even know if anyone can read this. What are all these V's doing all over too? Like, why are there just 1,000 V's all over this? Like, I don't get this text. I obviously can't read it myself, but I know that it's not abstract.
Quran are often included. And the Qurans themselves are often examples of decorative art.
Look how amazing these are. I really hope these are still preserved in a museum somewhere. You know, I hope these haven't just burned down in some building from some attacks from something. I don't know. Like, there are a lot of opportunities for all this stuff to have been destroyed. So I really hope it is still around. But if it's not, if any of this stuff has been destroyed, then again, that's part of the value of this program. This program itself is an act of preservation for all these artifacts. So if this book was burned up in a fire per se, like we would still have its like memory preserved in video through this. So again, that's another aspect of these videos that makes them so important to preserve, is like all the other little historical artifacts that they preserved in them.
In making their books, the Muslims used paper, a contribution which they brought from China and passed on to the Western world.
Yeah, I feel like that's also like a very big aspect of the Muslim world, as they are the ones who like really interacted and traded with like a lot of the Chinese and like Central Asian people, and then brought that information to Europe. I feel like a lot of people think most Europeans just went straight through to Asia, but a lot of them went through merchants and traders and everything to get Asian products from, you know, these Middle Eastern markets, I guess. That's how so much Asian culture and Asian ideas entered Europe through.
From Hindu India, Arab scholars borrowed concepts of mathematics.
Damn, I was about to say, this actually looks like math, like handwritten math getting done, which is interesting because you can almost make out some numbers. Like there's like an 8 over here. I don't know. I don't know if I'm just like seeing things where they aren't, but like this definitely looks like math, even though I can't tell what's happening.
Including the idea of the zero.
I feel like that little factoid that the 0 came from India, like I've heard my whole life.
We call our numerals Arabic numerals.
Oh, they are Arabic numerals. Okay, thank you. Thank you. See, I love when that happens. I love when I get confused and all I need to do is listen for the next thing the narrator has to say.
And our word algebra is an Arabic.
Oh, there you go. There's algebra for you. I knew what was coming. Thank you. I'm proud of myself for knowing that way before he mentioned it, though.
Word. In chemistry, Arabs...
Oh, alchemy. Are they going to mention alchemy? That's another word from Arabic, alchemy. I feel like arithmetic is also Arabic.
Scientists made many contributions and gave us such words as benzene.
Benzene. Okay. Oh, alcohol. That's another one I should have been able to guess. Yeah, I knew alcohol as well. Again, it's the AL at the beginning of the word. Like, that is what signifies, at least in my head, that it was definitely from the Arabic language.
Alcohol and alkali.
Alkali, alkaline, yeah, that makes sense. I feel like I knew these examples beforehand, but yeah, these are all good examples. These are better examples. Again, alkali, AL as well.
These contributions...
Alchemy as well. Like, they didn't say it, but alchemy as well.
And many more are part of the culture of the Muslim world. In Constantinople, that world reached its full development. Today, in Istanbul, as the city is now called,
That's so funny how they had to explain that Constantinople changed its name to Istanbul, as if that was like a recent change in their history, right? Like when did that change actually? Okay, so it changed in 1930, so this actually was like a very recent change. So I guess that explains why he had to specify Constantinople was now Istanbul. That's just funny. Again, like you forget that for these people, that was a very recent thing, and everyone was still remembering, okay, it's not Constantinople, it's Istanbul.
We'll see something of the splendor of the Muslim world. As in the past, the city is still the bridge between Europe...
Wow, see, these are such cool shots. This is a really good shot of, like, Constantinople, or Istanbul, I mean. Like this, the Hagia Sophia back here, and then all these people and all these streetcars. Like this is a really interesting look at what Istanbul was like in the 1950s, I think. It's so amazingly modernized, like this looks like a more modern city than like I live in today.
And Asia, between the Western world and the Muslim world. Within the city is the palace where the sultans ruled for 5 centuries. We can get some idea of the power and splendor of the sultan rulers when we see the mosques they built.
Hang on a second, though. Hang on 1 second. So they just said that we can see a hint of the power that the sultans had by the mosques that they built. But I'm pretty sure Hagia Sophia was not originally a mosque. I'm pretty sure that was built as a church and then refurbished into a mosque. I actually remember learning that in my Arabic civilizations class. So I don't know if they just got that wrong or if they'll mention that in a second, but Hagia Sophia definitely not originally a mosque, not constructed by the Muslims. They put up the minarets, that was definitely them. Or maybe it wasn't. No, it probably most definitely was, but I don't think they actually built Hagia Sophia. They just changed it into a mosque from a church.
Suleiman the Magnificent, who built this mosque, ruled in the 15th century.
Suleiman the Magnificent, who built this mosque. So is this not the Hagia Sophia? Am I just making an idiot out of myself? Hang on a second. Now I gotta look it up. Okay, yeah, so it was a church. All right, so maybe we're just not looking at the Hagia Sophia then. Or maybe Suleiman converted it into a mosque. I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is Hagia Sophia, and I'm pretty sure this wasn't always a mosque. This could just be a different mosque. I don't know.
Most famous of all mosques is Santa Sophia.
Santa Sophia, interesting. So I call it Hagia Sophia, but I'm still pretty sure we're talking about the same place here.
A historic landmark of 2 cultures.
Yeah, okay, so they are going to say that this was a church first.
Built by the Romans as a Christian church.
Built by the Romans, yeah, there you go.
It was later converted by the Muslims to a mosque.
Okay, so I guess they were just being confusing there. Or maybe that we were looking at a different mosque a second ago. I guess they just all look the same, I guess. Not that all mosques look the same. That's actually not true at all. Mosques look very different from one another. But like this looks like the same thing we've been looking at this whole time. I don't know. Maybe I just got it wrong. I don't know.
Today it is a museum, open to all peoples.
That's interesting. It's funny how like even all the way back in 1950 this was a museum. Like that's pretty cool, to be honest. I wonder if they still do like calls to prayer here or anything though.
Our world benefited by the many contributions of Muslim culture.
See, that's like an unexpected statement. I did not expect them to like actually admit that like our society benefited from interactions with Muslims. Like I really expected this to be more like negative, but this has been at least kind of balanced. It hasn't been like negative, I guess. It's still written in that like westernized like mentality. It's not biased against Mohammedans, I don't think. I don't know, it's tough to tell.
That culture, based on a deep religious faith, has greatly influenced the world in which we live.
Is this really the shot that we're going to end the story on? This minaret, this phallic minaret? I'm not the only one who sees it, all right? Like, I know everyone watching sees it as well. I'm not just the only one seeing the image that's on screen here. I don't even know. This might get me demonetized, having this minaret on screen right now. That was actually the final shot of the whole video. That was the shot that everyone thought was so important. I wonder if that's like a little troll on the Mohammedan world, like your little Mohammedan, architecture just looks to me like a penis, like I don't know. Like I don't know if that was purposeful in any way, but it is funny that that's the shot that we end on. That is the summation of the Mohammedan world, a penis-shaped minaret. I wonder if I can say that. I've never even said stuff like that without thinking about it. I don't think that's demonetizable, but that's my opinion at least. So that was interesting. I don't actually feel like I learned that much, to be honest. I feel like I got a good glimpse into the Muslim world from this time, but I don't actually think this taught me anything about the Muslim world that I didn't know already. Like, I feel like there was a lot left out, especially for the beginning. I feel like I really did want to hear the story of how Islam arose in Mecca again. I don't know, I really just wanted to hear the history. Like, I feel like this video, I guess it looked at the Mohammedan world and not the Mohammedan history, so I guess that's fair, but I wanted a better understanding of this religion from this program, and I don't feel like I got it. I feel like if this is the very first time you've watched anything on the religion of Islam, you still probably don't understand it at all, you know? Like, I don't think any information in this actually gave us insight into the religion of these people. Knowing what I already know about this religion, I just don't think this actually gave you that good of an idea of the belief system in place in Islam. Maybe some of you guys watching had a really good time learning about Islam for the first time, but I feel like there's more we should have learned about Islam from this. Again, this is sort of propaganda, so they're not really going to go into like all the interesting facets and historical events and whatnot, but I at least wanted to hear about Muhammad a little more. You know, I feel like it's called the Mohammedan world. We spent like 1 second talking about Muhammad, and I don't know. I do not feel like I got everything out of this that I wanted. I've been excited to watch this for some time now because I really did want to learn as much as possible about the Mohammedan world. And I thought this would be a great way of gaining insight into the Mohammedan world of the past. But this was a good view. It was good images that we got to see, but I just don't know if the information I don't know if it had enough information, to be honest. I really just want to know more about the Muslim faith, as that is like the foundation for all this art and all this, you know, everything we saw in the rest of this program is derived from the Muslim faith. So I just wanted to understand that a little more. Like, why don't they have faces in any of their art? You know, like that's something that I know because I understand the Muslim faith a little, but like they didn't even explain that, you know, like somebody could watch this and try drawing a picture of Muhammad's face and they wouldn't even know that that's a bad thing, you know? Like they didn't even tell us that very obvious aspect of Islam. So I don't know. I feel like I wanted to learn more about the actual faith from watching this. Not that this was bad. This definitely showed us what the Mohammedan world was like, but I want even more, I guess. I want to learn even more. Isn't that funny how that's always how these end? Is like, I just wanted to learn even more from this. So not bad. We did learn some cool, interesting things. We got to see the Mohammedan world probably more accurately than we ever have before, or at least more historically accurately than we've ever seen before, but I still want to know more about Islam. I'm sorry. I don't know if you guys were satisfied with this, but I am not. So in the future, we're going to try to learn more about the Mohammedan world. How about that? We're going to watch more of these programs. But if you enjoyed watching and would like to help support this channel, you can follow the link in the description that'll take you over to the Internet Archive. That is where I get all these old programs from. So if you would like to help support this channel, go over there and leave them a donation. They could really use it. It really helps the Internet Archive, which really helps me and this channel. So that's all I have for you guys. So let's just cut to black.